Hey y'all, welcome to the filling station. It's a new day, y'all. Another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, right? And as you can see, the VIX has been gathering in this area here, and it has broken out of that area. So pre-market support was around 1309 to about 1311. Price has been in this area. We've broken out of this under the 5 EMA. So now where are our trouble places to the downside, because we are under the 5 EMA, right? So right now support is at 1289. If we break that area, it can come back to this 200 EMA at 1279. Below that, we can come back and retest 1275, which is right above the 20 EMA. So, yeah, those are places that we know we could possibly have trouble to the downside for the VIX. And below the 1275 area, just know 1272, 1269, 1266, those are going to be places that will present a problem or trouble for us. We can find support and bounce back to the upside, right? So let's look at our trouble places to the upside. If we break back above the 5 EMA, then we know that we're going to have trouble here. And the 5 EMA is around the 1296 area. So if we break above the 1296, just know 1305, and again at 1307 and 1311, 1319, those are going to be trouble places. And 1338, those are going to be trouble places for the VIX to the upside or to the downside. And we look at the VIX just to give an idea of where the SPY is. And I know the SPY is very congested looking at it from that perspective, right? So we are looking at the SPY on the 30-minute chart right now, and we are above the 5 EMA, but as you can see, price kind of hung out in this area here pre-market. This is our 4 o'clock candle, and it is resting on trading within a previous support and resistance area. So that 544.63 and the 544.87 was our pre-market support and resistance. We've broken out of that area above the 5 EMA, above the 20 EMA, but as you can see, we're finding support here. Are we going to hold this support? So it would need to stay above 545.23 or 545.26 area. SPY needs to stay above that in order to continue to the upside, right? So where are our trouble places for the SPY this far, right? So if we continue to the upside, just know that we're going to have trouble here at 545.65, which is the 200 EMA and a previous resistance area or support area. So now above this 545.66 area, just know that 545.69 area, we're going to have trouble again at the 50 EMA. So there's like a lot of trouble, a lot of resistance for the SPY. So I'm going to set my alert above this level because it would tell me that it has broken through a level of resistance, right? So if we break the 545.74 area, just know that we're going to have trouble, or 545.97 could be a trouble place, and the ATR trailing stop at 546.07 or 17 is also a trouble place for the SPY. So if you trade the SPY, it could move in either direction. So let's look to the downside, right? If by chance we come back and break under this 544.84, just know that we're going to have trouble at 544.63 and again at 544.43, below that 544.13 and 544.01. I would definitely watch those areas if I traded the SPY today, and keep in mind the SPY, let's see how much it normally moves on a daily basis. And y'all, I know the chart is very congested. It moves normally $4.28 on a daily basis, and that can be in either direction. We'll come back to the SPY just to do a recap. So this is Tesla. Tesla is Tesla. I say that often, right? So as of right now, our pre-market support is here. Well, this was our 4 o'clock candle. We bounced off of a previous support area, 198.87, and we've been moving to the upside. We broke through that resistance of 199.75. So this is our gathering spot. I'm gonna mark that. So as of now, price is in this area. Support at 268, resistance here. I would say at 201.41. Because that's where the price is coming back to. So as of now, our support for Tesla is 268. Our resistance is at 201.41, and price is just moving in this range. As you can see, we are above the 5 EMA. The moving averages are fanned out, so it looks like it wants to go back to the upside. I always ask, where are trouble places? It looks like Tesla's having trouble at this 201.41. If by chance we break above that to the upside, we're going to have trouble at 203.20, again at 204.42 and 205.32. Beyond 205.32, we're going to have trouble here at 206.77. Those are places to the upside that I would definitely watch Tesla if we break above the 201.41. And just know, anything is possible with Tesla. It does what it does. I say that often, right? So let's say to the downside, if by chance we break under this 268, we can come back and retest 199.75. Below that, we can come to the 200 EMA at 199.60, and below that 198.87. Below 198.87 brings us to the 50 EMA and a previous resistance and or support area at 198.34, all the way down to the 197.75. And if we break the 197.75, the ATR trailing stop is at 197.25. Those are interesting places that I would definitely watch for Tesla to the upside or to the downside. And Tesla normally moves $7.72 on a daily basis, right? And that's the ATR, the average true range. And yes, that fluctuates. Let me say that. So let's go to AMD. AMD is interesting as always, because to me it just moves different. So AMD pre-market, we have support. It found support on this 50 EMA, but it's trading in between these two blue lines here, which was a previous support or resistance. It was a previous gathering spot for us. So we're kind of gathered in that area again, and the 50 EMA is inside that. So as of now, AMD has broken past that area, and we're at the 5 EMA, kind of in the same situation with the 5, the 5 and the 20 being inside a previous gathering spot. So where are our trouble places for AMD at this point? We know that we're going to have trouble. It needs to stay above the 5 EMA, which is above the 162.32. It's having trouble here at the 162.72. So if it breaks above 162.72, we could possibly get rejected here at 163.21. Above 163.21, our trouble places are 163.69, 164.32 to the upside, right? So let's look to the downside, because it's a lot of little support areas to the downside. If by chance we get under the 5 EMA, which is under the 163.21, we can come back down to the 161.95. Below that, we can come back to the 161.34 or 102. Or 160.75, 160.58, 160.59. Those are going to be trouble places to the upside and to the downside for AMD. And if you trade AMD, I always say trade carefully, but I always like to identify, where am I going to have trouble, right? So NVDA is trading. We had looks like a double bottom here, looking at it on this 30-minute chart. And this is our 4:30 candle. This is our 4 o'clock candle. We declined, created a double bottom. It looks as if it's been moving up to the upside from this 120.01. It hit a low of 120.01, but the price is here at 120.32. So I would definitely watch this area, because it could very well come back down to this area. Right now we're above the 5 EMA. So where are our trouble places for NVIDIA? It's going to have trouble at 122.57. As you can see, we are having trouble in this area, right? The next trouble place is here above the 20 EMA, and we have a lot of resistance at this 122.91 area. So we need to break above that to continue to the upside. So I'm going to set an alert above that level. Now, if it breaks the 122, above the 123.05 area is what I have marked, we know that we're going to have trouble at the 50 EMA and the ATR trailing stop, which is around the 123.71 area, which brings us really close to a previous resistance or support area at 123.82. So I would definitely watch those areas for NVIDIA to the upside. And how much does NVIDIA normally move on average now? $5.98, and that could be in either direction. So I always say, if you trade NVIDIA, trade carefully. So let's look to the downside, right? And if it breaks under the 120.01, which is here, 120.05, we could very well come back and have trouble here at 119.48. and 118.37. Below 118.37, I have 117.05. Below 117.05, we can come back to the 116.58. Below 116.58, we can retest the 115.28. And I would say trade carefully, right? Because again, it can move in either direction, up or down the average ATR. So we do have some inside day candles, and let's see. Coinbase is an inside day candle. I know it's going to take forever for that. Yeah. So Coinbase is an inside day candle. If it breaks above, which we've already reached that target pre-market. It If it would have broken above 225.63, then the target to the upside was 225.76. We've already reached 230.15, which is not surprising, right? To the downside, if it breaks under 218.32, 216.32 is the target to the downside for coin, and that's COIN. It's interesting that GameStop is an inside day candle, but if it breaks above 26.17, then the target to the upside is 26.69. If it breaks below 24.31, then the downside target is $24, and as you can see, we've already made a low of 22.80. So that is interesting to see that, sometimes it exceeds that ATR, and it just gives us a guide. It exceeds the area that we mark as support and resistance, or target places, let me say that. So anything is possible, right? So international paper is also an inside day candle. Above 43.47, we have a target of 43.65. Below 42.48, we have a downside target of 41.50. And JNJ, Johnson & Johnson, is an inside day candle. Above 147.07 is a target of 147.37. Below 145.63 gives us a target of 144.83 to the downside. Oracle, ORCL, is an inside day candle. I'm waiting on that chart to load. Okay, maybe it's not an inside day candle. We'll figure out why I have that on my chart a little bit later. So UPS is an inside day candle, right? So if it breaks above, let me go back. So we're having issues with the 30 minutes. So if it breaks above 137.20, then the target to the upside is 138.05. Below 135.64 gives us a downside target of 135.15, which is right at the ATR trailing stop. That's what I was just looking at. So yes, we do have some inside day candles. I always say y'all trade carefully. Don't rush into your trades. Make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering those trades. And I know the SPY looks a little bit different when you look at it from that, but it looks like the SPY is trying to move back to the upside. Just know the 50 EMA is going to be trouble for us. We've tested it, and we came up and tested the 20 previous resistance area and the 50 EMA, and that's the 200, not the 20, 200 EMA, and we got rejected. As you can see, we hit this area and we came down. So are we going to come back and find support here at the 545.28? Those are things that I would be asking and watching for, because we got rejected here. We can come back down and retest, or we can, find support here and continue to bounce to the upside. I always ask myself, where am I going to have trouble? And I try to identify those places, and sometimes it's a smaller time frame, sometimes I look at a bigger time frame, and it's all about really support and resistance. Where am I going to have trouble? Yeah, so y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I hope that everyone have a very profitable and very productive day, right? I always like to leave you with this: be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.